I'll let a few people tune in before we get started. All right, we've got a few people watching. So this will be our last regular update during the legislative session. Chelsea is back in Melville today, and we've been in Bozeman all week because things have really winded down in Helena. Most of the bills that we've been working on are well through the process and are actually on their final leg of the legislative journey. And the legislators there are kind of tying up the loose ends of a few last minute big issues like Medicaid and infrastructure. So we are here back in Helena making sure that those bills that we've been watching all session are continuing to move its way through the process. And I was just going to give you guys a bit of an update. It will be short and sweet because we didn't have any hearings this week, no new bills. So if you do have questions on a specific bill, please let us know. Hi, Alina. So all of the bills right now that we're working on are in the pending process. So that starts with enrolling. When a bill gets enrolled, it goes through those final steps to assure that all of the amendments that have been put on that bill are accurate and assure that that bill is in its perfect final form as it was intended to be and passed in both chambers. So it goes through the enrolling process that sometimes can take a few days. After that, the Speaker of the House and the President of the Senate both have to sign that bill before it moves to the governor's desk. At that point, the governor has a few different routes that he can take. He can either sign a bill into law, right as it is, or he can amendatory veto it, which would be to essentially choose a portion of the bill that he doesn't like or wants to add to and make those amendments and then send it back to its respective chamber for the legislators there to vote on those amendments. Or he can veto it altogether, or he can sit on the bill for 10 days, no signature, and it still becomes law. So sometimes when these bills end up on his desk, it takes us a while before we have a final product or a result. So we're waiting on quite a few bills that are sitting on his desk or on their way there. So I just wanted to go through a few of them. House Bill 431, we talked about 2 weeks ago or last week. This is the bill that creates a student debt assistance program for beginning farmers and ranchers. That bill is in the enrolling process right now and should be moving on to Speaker of the House and President of the Senate for their signatures shortly. SJ6, Senator Mike Cuff's resolution to delist the grizzly bear just got back from enrolling. So it's moving through the process as well. 299, Senate Bill 299, this is Senator Mike Lang's sage grouse bill. That bill got out of conference committee earlier this week. So there were amendments made in the Senate, and then there were additional amendments made in the House. So when those amendments don't entirely align and both chambers do not agree on the other's amendments, they can go to a conference committee. And there isn't an opportunity for public comment, but we do listen in on those and let legislators know how we feel about the amendments. And we're comfortable with the final product that Senate Bill 299 came up with and feel that it will probably get the governor's signature because that was a bill that received a lot of collaborative effort in ensuring that all parties were happy with it. So that's moving along. HJ 17 was a resolution that requested the federal government assist in funding aquatic invasive species programs. And we supported that because, as most of you know, we're very supportive of having an AIS program here in Montana, but unfortunately it's not cheap. And that is an issue that is still ongoing at this session. It's one of those final bills that they are trying to tie the pieces together because they can't exactly find a long-term funding solution, something that's incredibly equitable. The bill that's still at play is House Bill 411. I think they're finalizing amendments because both the House and Senate version were quite a bit different. But HJ 17 requested that the federal government help us in that issue because it truly is an issue that transcends state boundaries. Those little critters don't know what state lines are. So it was a good resolution introduced by Representative Curdy, and that has just gotten back from enrolling. Now, resolutions do not require the government's or the governor's signature. It is a letter sent directly from the House and the Senate. So it can, after it's received both of those signatures from the House and Senate, it will move forward. Also, if you guys have any questions, feel free to shout them out comment away. Feel free to interrupt me. House Bill 332 was a bill that we definitely supported. This was Representative Kastmeyer's, and it required county approval before relocating bison. And we see this very much as a local control measure, and that bill is just got back from enrolling as well. So all of these bills are pending. We're just waiting for them to keep moving through the process. But we are keeping close tabs on them, and if they do need an extra push, we'll let you know as well with the governor's desk. Both of the hemp bills are moving along through the process. So those should be ending up on the governor's desk next week. House Bill 520, this was the bill that increased the Livestock Loss Board's budget by $100,000. This bill received great bipartisan support in both the House and Senate, and it has finished through the enrolling process and is on the governor's desk right now. So it's been transmitted to him, and we're just awaiting his signature. So if there are a few of you that do feel very strongly about that issue, I certainly encourage you to give some correspondence to the second floor and let them know that that's a program that's incredibly important to you, because at the end of the day, we do not get to control the wildlife management decisions here in the state, but it's you guys that bear the cost of it quite frequently with predators. So we are hoping to see that bill receive a signature here shortly. I think it was transmitted earlier this week. So he still has 10 days to either sign it or let it become law after that 10-day time period. So, all right. Representative Redfield's Real Meat Act is on the governor's desk as well. So I know there are a lot of you that were very interested in that, and it clarifies that cell-cultured edible product cannot be mislabeled as meat. If it's meat, it can be labeled meat, but if it did not come from a live slaughtered animal, it does not get to use the term meat or any of its associated nomenclature, so steaks and burger. And that bill was transmitted on the 10th, so he has until tomorrow to either veto it or sign it, or just it would become law after tomorrow, because that 10-day portion or 10-day time period is up. So we're excited to see that moving through. We're hoping that it becomes law after tomorrow. What else do we want to talk about? House Bill 229, if anyone was watching that, that was the bill that clarified that that fossils belong to the surface estate. Interesting bill for us to work on. That was transmitted to the governor earlier this week. A lot of proponents, no opponents after it was amended in the House. So we foresee that receiving the governor's signature shortly as well. Senate Bill 341 that created the Public Access Lands Agreement Act. Yes, it allowed landowners to negotiate with Fish, Wildlife, and Park to create access agreements. They can be compensated $15,000 or less per agreement in order to provide access to landlocked lands, state lands. So that bill was moving through the process. It came out of House Appropriations last week or earlier this week, and I believe it's in enrolling as of now. HJ 28 was one that a lot of members were watching closely. This was the resolution that requested the BLM deny the American Prairie Reserve's grazing proposal. And that resolution did move swiftly through both the House and the Senate and is in the enrolling and final preparation process right now as well. That will not need the governor's signature like the other resolutions that we were discussing earlier, because it's essentially a letter that gets sent to the BLM from both the House and Senate. Also, if any of you guys aren't Century Club members, you get this handy dandy bill tracker every single week if you're a Century Club member. HJ 35 is a study bill, and Alina Mesa says, steak. Good job, Mesa. Real steak, real meat. HJ 35, introduced by Representative Alan Redfield, was that interim study bill that requests the Revenue and Transportation Interim Committee take a closer, deeper look at our state and local tax policy. And while we can't assure that we will agree with everything that comes out of that study, it is something that we're excited about and a conversation we definitely want to be a part of. And that study resolution is moving through the process swiftly as well. As is everything. We did a count earlier today and we've got 35 bills that are currently in the pending process. So at this point, we essentially sit on our hands and see where they go. Another one that is in the enrolling process right now is Senate Bill 317. This is Senator Lang's bill that allows truck haulers to purchase overweight wintertime permits between December 7th and March 1st, I believe. You can either do a, sorry, I just opened another tab. You can either do a durational or a wintertime permit, so a 30-day or that full span of time. And it allows you to haul 10% overweight during that time period, because when the ground freezes, so do the roads, and they can withstand a greater weight. So we are excited to see that moving through the process. There are a couple other states that also do that. So it's pretty important for those who do business cross borders. North Dakota has a wintertime permit as well. So for those of you who do haul through North Dakota during the wintertime and have that permit, hopefully after here in the next 2 weeks, we will have that option available in Montana as well during the wintertime. Shelley said, is the bill tracker an email? It is. It comes through as, it's called our legislative e-source. We send it out every Friday. Sometimes I have to send it out on Saturday because there are a lot of bills that get heard on Friday and we want to give you the most up-to-date details. If you are a Century Club member, you should be receiving those in your email. If not, give me a shout, Shelley, and we will make sure that you get those in the future. Oh, Chelsea's got it. She's commenting away as well. So what else do we have still in the process? Almost done. So if you guys do have any questions, feel free to ask because I think we're winding down. House Bill 286, this is a state lands bill that clarifies DNRC cannot own part of our water right without due process and going through the proper court system, just like everyone else. And that bill is currently in its enrolling process. Now, it will receive both the Speaker of the House and the President's signature before it goes to the governor's desk. We will likely be giving you guys updates as to when that happens. We'll be sending out an action alert because we really would like to see the second floor receive a lot of correspondence from you guys because it's truly you who it affects. And DNRC is giving them a lot of pressure to veto the bill. So we are definitely going to need to have all hands on deck pushing our support of House Bill 286. So we will keep you in the loop there. While this is our last regular live update, we will likely do a wrap-up update later on and maybe another one to prompt those of you to contact the governor on House Bill 286. SB 81, this was Senator Konar's bill. It actually came out of the Water Policy Interim Committee, and it simply extends the deadline to correct a deficiency letter from DNRC. So when you go through a water change, whether you're changing place of use, time of use, etc., you do have to go through the water change process with DNRC. And if they do find something that they find deficient, they will send you a deficiency letter requesting more information from you. And as of now, you have 30 days to respond to that deficiency letter. You can extend that 30 days to 90, but you are granted an initial 30 days. Senate Bill 81 extends that 30 days to 120 total. You do not have to extend that from 30. And just a simple measure, that change process can be incredibly complicated, and sometimes DNRC requests a lot of information. So we supported this and are excited to see it moving through the process. It's currently in enrolling as well, so getting its final bow before it lands on the governor's desk. So that's moving along as well. Other than that, I think that's the rest of my updates, unless anyone has any questions. Definitely stay tuned as we will do a wrap-up update at some point. It won't be probably next Friday. A lot of these bills are moving along, but it's not incredibly a fast process. Legislators do have a break. I believe they are out today and will not come back until Tuesday. So that kind of slows down the process for a few of these bills that are in their final stages. But after that, things will continue moving through, and it'll be us just waiting for updates from the governor's office. So if you do have any questions, feel free to shoot us a comment on here or shoot Chelsea or I an email or a phone call. We'd be happy to answer them for you. If not, I am going to tune off and wish you all a very happy Easter. Thanks, guys.